Hello, and welcome back to episode 2 of Breastfeeding and All the Ish That No One Told Us, brought to you by Orole. My name is Ana Rojas Bacidas, and I will be your host. And today we're going to be talking about Breastfeeding Awareness Month and its history, its origins, why we celebrate, and how we can get involved. But first, our disclaimer. So, if you're anything like me, I actually hadn't heard about Breastfeeding Awareness Month or World Breastfeeding Week until about 2 years ago. So, when I went into and dived into the history of, it was really, really empowering and something that I think is super important because as a society, I think we do a terrible job supporting the breastfeeding community. So, not only am I going to share the history of, but also provide resources for you to help you learn more about the history of and the tools to be able to promote it. And finally, we are going to be talking about a very special project that Orole is going to be focusing on for the month of August. Very first the World Breastfeeding Week was actually held back in 1992 by the World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action. And what was really neat was that they actually serve as advisors to other organizations like the World Health Organization, the United Nations, UNICEF. And what they decided to do was theme it every week, not every week, every year. And each theme really coincided with what all of these other coalitions were trying to do. So they embedded themselves into everything. But as you know, breastfeeding embeds itself naturally because it impacts every part of our lives and the lives of our society. So this year, the theme is Support Breastfeeding to Support a Healthier Planet. What they've done is they've taken the 17 sustainable goals that were set forth by the United Nations and shown how each one of those could be achieved through supporting breastfeeding. So they have added a lot of information about how artificial nursing, right, things like formula, do have an impact on our environment. And I do want to make it very clear that I'm never anti formula, it has its space. What we're talking about here is how we can do better as a society to support those individuals that have chosen to breastfeed. And according to the CDC, we know that 85% of moms in the US specifically want to breastfeed because they do attempt it on day one. Now, those numbers drop dramatically over the course of the months and years that come. And that is the whole point of these initiatives and months of awareness. So, the first World Breastfeeding Week took place in 1992. Fast forward to 2011, and that was actually the first year that the US celebrated its Breastfeeding Awareness Month. Why the disproportionate time? Who knows? But we can credit the first Black female Surgeon General, Regina Benjamin, for publishing the Surgeon General call to support breastfeeding in 2011. And that gave the US Breastfeeding Committee the momentum that it needed to declare August Breastfeeding Awareness Month. So, just like the World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action has a theme, so does the US Breastfeeding Committee. This year, the theme is Many Voices United. And the goal of this year is, I'm going to read this so I don't mess up, is to come together to identify and implement the policy and systems changes that are needed to ensure that every family that chooses breastfeeding has the support and resources that they need to succeed. So, one of the things we wanted to do as an organization is to make sure that we took action to support our community as well. Last week, I had the absolute pleasure of meeting an artist named Omari, and Omari was sharing his art. The problem with Omari's art is that he is doing his best to bring awareness to the ever despicable maternal mortality crisis here in the US. And as we all know, the US actually has the worst maternal mortality rates in the world. So he lost his partner 10 months ago, and he's been advocating for her and other families ever since. We had a wonderful and deep conversation and have decided to partner up to do an event for Breastfeeding Awareness Month. He has agreed to create an amazing and will be beautiful, no doubt, piece of work called Liquid Gold so that we can celebrate the last week of August, which is specifically dedicated to Black breastfeeding awareness. And the proceeds are all going to go to the Brooklyn Perinatal Network. Now, the Brooklyn Perinatal Network has been in operation for the last 30 years. This is something that they have been at the most grassroots level trying to work on within their own communities. The services they provide are both prenatal, birth work, and postnatal. But the most important thing is that they are trying to empower and educate their own community, which means they provide doula training for women within their communities. We know that birth workers are a powerful tool in battling this maternal mortality crisis. So, more information is going to be coming out soon, but if you're not already following us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram for more information. You can also follow Amari on Instagram as well and see the work and the queens that he is highlighting and helping and their partners whom he is helping to support. So we're going to link all of those different organizations below so you can continue to do your own research. A lot of them have media kits, so if you want to share it on your social network, that will make a huge impact as well. You can read up on the work that the Brooklyn Perinatal Network is doing, and if you wanted to check out more of Amari's art. We'll be back later this week with more videos. In the meantime, I hope you have an amazing afternoon, evening, morning, night, wherever you are on this amazing planet, and we'll chat again soon. Bye.